Online studios in beautiful Bothell, Washington, exclusively at WrestlingObserver.com. You're listening to the Bryan and Vinny Show with your hosts, Brian Alvarez and Big Vinny V.
Granny, you are number one.
So we're here now. Hopefully Granny's still here after that. I think I surprised everybody. I don't think Jared was aware we were going to play that to start out the show. But it's Halloween today, everybody.
Boo.
It's the Halloween edition of the Bryan and Vinny and Granny and Craig and Sean show. And yes, I am here, and Vinny is here. Right, Vinny? What in the heck? What are you?
My costume is...
John Belushi?
Not far off. My costume is middle-aged man who has just rolled out of bed with a raging hangover.
Yeah, that looks about right.
So I got my black coffee here.
Wow.
I hate mornings, and then Grumpy the Dwarf mug. And then a little hair of the dog, and my old friend, this flask here.
I don't get drunk. I get awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, the disgusting chest hair poking out of the top of that wife beater really completes the look right there.
Which actually is trimmed more than usual, so it shows how disgusting I truly am.
That is absolutely disgusting. And Sean, I believe, is Wayne.
Yes, not Buddy Wayne, but
No.
That's
Wayne from
actually-
Wayne's World.
that's
Wayne Campbell.
It's uncanny, actually.
Swing.
How
Yes.
much you look like Wayne. And what do we got for Craig? What is Craig here today? The blue meanie?
You told me to dress up.
So you dressed up. Granny laughed. You got Granny.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And Granny, what are you? Are you wearing a costume here today?
Wait a minute.
Yes.
If I can get up.
You have something on your head. Are you all right over there?
Yeah.
Home of the Wicked Witch. I see. That's why you had to get up?
Yeah.
All right, make sure you can sit back down with... Oh, God. Oh, God.
My ears.
Oh, man, if you would have seen it, Vinny. That chair went rolling. Are you all right over there?
I'm okay.
Excellent, excellent. Well, it is the Halloween edition of the show right here. And we got a lot to get into today. I got a very interesting thing that I put up on the Facebook today.
Did you now?
Oh, I did. And I forgot till about 2 hours ago, so hopefully we got some entries. If not, we'll just go to Granny's segment and then start talking about Impact. Sound like a plan?
Impact. I didn't watch Impact.
TNA.
Okay.
NWA TNA.
Well, wait a minute.
It made an impact on me.
What is your costume?
I'm just Ken.
I see.
Yeah, we had a Barbie Halloween here,
Gotcha,
apparently.
gotcha, okay.
Except for Hanley wanted to be a dog,
Yeah.
and so she just wore a dog outfit.
There you go.
The rest of us were trapped.
Okay.
But yes.
Well, as it says here on the Facebooks, today, exclamation point, tell a spooky true story,
Yes.
100 words or less.
Yes.
You know, Brian, you could easily just have said Andy Warhol.
There's probably a lot of people that I could have said, but this is technically a Ken costume.
There's nothing wrong with a Ken costume in
Yes,
2023.
it was. We Googled it, and this is what came up. So this is what I'm wearing.
Okay.
You know, I got a spooky story to start out with here today.
He's Brian Gosling.
Because it reminded me, something happened today that reminded me of something else.
That was funny, Sean.
So that was a good one. So today, the kids were eating dinner, and they were parked by the front door because they wanted to hand out candy before bed to anybody that came to this house and wanted candy. And only two groups came by to get candy. But anyway, they're sitting by the front door. They've got like chairs and everything. They're all camped out. And me and Whitney are right around the corner, and we're eating dinner. So we cannot see the children, okay? So all of a sudden, we hear the front door open and close. And, you know, Hanalei is, she'll just leave. You know, she doesn't obey the rules. So, you know, we yelled over, hey, stay in the house. And they yelled, what? And we said, stay in the house. Leave the door shut unless somebody knocks. And they said, we didn't open the door. And I looked at Whitney, and she looked at me, and we were like, no, somebody just opened the door. We both heard that. And I said, listen, you're not going to get in trouble. Just who opened the door? And they said, nobody opened the door. We've just been sitting here the entire time. And now we were like, these little fuckers. Like, they're lying to us. And so I get up and I walk over there, and they are sitting in their chairs camped out. They're nowhere near the door. And so then I go over to the door, and, like, it's locked. The deadbolt, like, everything. They didn't open the door. And Whitney and I both heard the door open and close. And so then we got thinking, the last time we were in Hawaii, I've told this story. We were driving back from a luau in the middle of the night, and it was this big, windy road. And all of a sudden, we almost killed this guy on a bike. This guy's just riding in the middle of the road on a bike. And, like, we slammed it. She goes, stop! We slammed on the brakes. And all of a sudden, the guy was gone. And we were on a road where there's, like, nowhere to go. You know, there's just, like, you know, if you've ever been to Hana, I mean, there's nowhere to go on these windy roads. And so we turned around and we went back, and there was nowhere for this guy to go. And he was just gone. And we both saw him. And we both heard the door open and close tonight. So that's my creepy story for the day. I don't know what the hell happened, but it was weird, dude. It was weird.
Well, that was way over 100 words.
I don't care. It's my show. Anybody else got one?
No.
My dog was very concerned about the trick-or-treaters today. Just barking up a storm.
That ain't all that spooky.
It was, because we didn't have that many trick-or-treaters. She kept on hearing them.
Brian, are we telling our stories now?
Yeah, let's hear yours.
Oh, I got a long one. 75. 79 words.
You counted? Okay, well, you can have as many words as you want, but what happened to you?
Okay, just a minute. Okay. We had a neighbor. His name was Rutsky.
You got a neighbor named Ruski?
Rutsky. Anyway,
Rutsky.
he was mean to his wife,
I don't know.
and they lived by a swamp. There
I don't
were
like this
rumors.
going.
There were rumors that the house he lived in was haunted. They heard voices in the swamp and on the roof. One of the siblings was babysitting there. One of my siblings was babysitting there.
You got Vinny drinking, Granny. This must have really worried him.
Oh, hell, now it made me lose my place.
So you had
Was
neighbors.
babysitting their kids, and a flash of light came through the window and burned a hole in a curtain.
Holy crap.
When the wife died, the kids wouldn't go to sleep unless the lights were on. That's a true story.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, what was the story you were telling us when we came over today? Because we did come over to your house. About somebody told you some scary story, but you said not to believe him?
Oh, that was my stepdad. Said he saw a ghost in a barn tossing pumpkins around.
Wow.
Oh, really?
He was a big liar anyway.
You know, many years ago, Granny, you told me some story about, like, somebody, I don't know if it was at a whatever, but, like, they went in the room and there was a person on the bed who'd been dead for a long time. I can't remember this story, but it was really weird. But now you've totally forgotten it. The last time I asked you, I had no idea what the story was.
No, I don't remember anything like that.
I've told this story at least once in the show before, but I'll tell it again. On our honeymoon, Bridget and I were in Ireland going for a walk at night, and came to a dark bridge, and there was a couple of sketchy-looking fellas hanging out at the end of the bridge. And I kept my eye on them, but we walked past, and that was about it. And we're walking along the bridge, looking at the stars, it's all very nice and peaceful, and then I hear footsteps running up behind me. And I turn and brace, and there's nothing there.
Wow.
That freaked me out.
Wow.
Yes.
Probably the same fucker that tried to open my door tonight.
Might be.
Craig, you don't got nothing?
No, I really don't.
All right, Vinny. Well, is there anybody with a story on Facebook?
We got 23 comments here.
Wow.
See how many we get through.
All right.
I'm going to start with Tim, because Tim always gets salty when I don't read his. Tim Page, a top fan. As a kid, I thought every perp on America's Most Wanted was going to break into my bedroom window. I lived in fear for 34 years.
34 years?
Yeah,
Wow.
what the hell happened when you were 34?
Well, probably the show got got canceled. Sorry, Granny. Why didn't you stop watching a show if you're afraid to be in your own house for 34 years? Maybe you could find another show to watch that's not so scary.
Lantian says, I was stuck next to Brent at a public restaurant for 30 minutes.
Oh, God. Horrid.
Preet Paul. Asking Vinny to read post after post of 100 words is all the horror that man can handle.
Wow. Come on, nobody's got a story? Come on now.
A.B. Morales. First of all, he specifies he has 85 words. My stepbrother once exclaimed that he could see an old lady sitting out in the dark in our backyard. We live in a very secluded place. Tall, skinny, hair tied in a bun, round but small glasses, knitting, a dress with a self-sewn doily around the neck. My mother was aghast. He had described her grandmother who lived here, our house built over what used to be hers. But he never met her.
Wow.
She passed away years before he came into the family. He came into the family and moved in.
See, that's a good one.
It was his stepbrother, yeah.
That's a good one. If there were a prize, I'd give it to myself for that story about Hawaii and the front door here tonight.
All right,
But he'd be a close second.
Here's one that's very much not spooky.
Okay.
Tim Simcoe. One time I sneezed while I was on the second floor of my house. My neighbor, who was outside, shouted, "Bless you."
We got Phil here who says, we took a hike along the track where a well is, and across from us, one of the abandoned window doors began slamming open and closed, yet there was no wind. Ooh. That's a good one.
All right, I think we have a winner with the next one.
Okay.
Armando Aguilar. I lived in a haunted house that at one point was an illegal crematorium.
Excuse me. Wait a second. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
An illegal crematorium.
They illegally burned corpses there.
Ouch.
Okay, that's not a crematorium.
Did people
That's
figure
a
it out when
crime
it was
scene.
snowing in the summer?
I could stop there, but he has one more
No,
sentence.
please continue.
We heard footsteps on the roof, and items would randomly fall out of our closets.
An illegal crematorium.
Yeah, that's strange.
Who could think that that would be haunted?
Who would think that would be necessary?
Huh.
I'm skeeved.
It says, I graduated from CSU Channel Islands, which before it was a school was a mental institution, and the Eagles wrote the song Hotel California about it. Wow. How about that?
I can tell you about the most scared I've ever been.
We'll take that.
Did a tour at the Eastern State Penitentiary in Pennsylvania at night, and upstairs in one of these rooms was a tricycle.
Oh.
And all of a sudden, I'm looking at this tricycle, and it started rolling by itself.
Oh.
It scared the bejesus out of me.
Well, why was it rolling by itself?
I have no clue.
So it might have been a haunted tricycle.
That's entirely possible.
Wow.
It was horrifying.
Sounds like it.
Markel C. Slaughter, a top fan, says a bit embarrassing, but whatever. When I was a kid, I would go to sleep with my parents in their bed, and for whatever reason, parts of some foam padding from, I guess, the ironing board that I called sponge bugs just out of nowhere randomly float in my vicinity and just stuck onto the bedpillows, and it spooked me something fierce. He ends, one was square-shaped, and one was just an odd shape.
Well, he had extra words left over.
I did.
Apparently, yes.
Andrew Harbor, a top fan. I was watching Poltergeist on a quiet Halloween afternoon, and a bird flew into the window directly behind me and died on impact.
Wow.
Okay. Matthew Durnley. I don't know how spooky, in quotes, this is, but once when I was very young, I was trick-or-treating and knocked on a door to a giant knife stabbing out of the center of the door through the letterbox. It was only because I jumped back I didn't get stabbed on Halloween as a child. Have a nice day.
That's a great story.
Okay, dumb jokes.
Any other creepy stories? I want creepy stories here, like it's after dark.
Michael Dixon. I was in a car wash late at night once. The lights went out, and the machines inside the wash stopped working simultaneously. In that moment, I was fairly sure that I was going to be the first victim in a real-life horror movie. Slammed on the gas and got the hell out of there. Then realized it was a simple power outage.
I like how that's what he concluded later.
Patrick McGuire. My roommate and I rented a house in New Orleans, and we checked the attic there. There was a human skull in a football helmet. It was real. We had the police check it out and everything. No idea if you lived there before us or why it was there or who it was.
Hey, I remember, I guess it's a little bit spooky, but this also, I think I've told the story. But when we were cleaning out the building, because we were going to move the yoga studio in there, the building was built in 1905, so it's pretty decrepit. And we were cleaning out this one room because we were going to put the, the dressing room there or whatever. And there was a big, long, coffin-shaped box in this room. And we're like, that's weird. It looks like a coffin. So we opened the lid, and there was a, plug your ears, Granny, there was a fucking skeleton in it.
Ooh.
And it was not a fake skeleton.
Oh.
It was an actual skeleton. And it was horrifying. And later we found out that the building was the, I forget, like the Oddfellows or something. And apparently they used this skeleton in rituals. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That was really weird when we found that skeleton. Not gonna lie. I got a lot of them today.
Michael Hagan's a top fan. I was driving to pick up a friend when I was in high school, and they lived in the backwoods of Florida. And it was an early morning when it was still dark. As I was approaching the wooded path, I swear I saw a redneck with a machete standing in the middle of the road. I veered to avoid him, and when I looked back, he was gone. I told my friend what I saw, and she said, it might have been my uncle. He's visiting from the hospital.
Wow.
Didn't pick her up again for months.
Aaron here says, I've experienced sleep paralysis in my old apartment. I always slept with the door closed, but one night I heard it open and footsteps approached. I opened my eyes, no ghost, but the door was ajar. Ooh. And then Philip says, Anthony says, my youngest brother claims our dead great-grandmother's ghost once came into his room and tickled his toes while he was sleeping. He woke up while it was happening, and he couldn't move. That reminds me, my father, Vinny knows Carlos.
I do.
Craig as well, I'm sure. Probably Sean. Anyway, today we went to downtown Bothell to trick-or-treat, and my dad found one of Paisley's pretend astronaut helmets, and he put it on, and he went around town getting candy. That was something else. But anyway, when he was a kid, we used to go to Blackfoot, Idaho all the time, and every summer we had to go to Blackfoot. And my grandparents lived there on his side, and it was this little house that was probably like 500 years old, and it had a cellar. That's what you call when you walk down the stairs to go underground, cellar. Mm-hmm. So they had a cellar there, and it was like a little trap door in the kitchen that you could open up and go down to the cellar. And my dad said that when he was a kid, he used to sleep in the cellar because they had a whole bunch of kids. And so he had a bed down there. And he said that one day he was sleeping down there, and all of a sudden he heard footsteps coming down the stairs. And then all of a sudden he felt something sitting on him, and he could not move, and he could not breathe. And he finally, shoved whatever this was off, and he raced out of that cellar, and he never went down there again. So, probably sleep paralysis, but he thought it was a witch.
All right, I got one more here on Granny's page.
All right, last one.
E.J. Coleman. One time, my sister and I were waiting to get picked up to go over to a friend's house to sleep over. It was winter, so it was dark outside already. While waiting and playing outside in the driveway under the light, suddenly a cell phone rang in the bushes on our property just out of the light between the driveway and our larger backyard. That's not near any roads or sidewalks, and we ran inside. Needless to say, 20-ish years later, it's pretty spooky to wonder who was there and why.
Wow. All right. Well, I like that. We got some pretty good ones there. Granny, what do you got here today?
Oh, what have I got? Jerry found something for me.
What was that over there, Vinny?
That's me very subtly, stealthily, sneakily sliding my mic forward.
Yeah, that was really subtle.
No one noticed.
I thought you were squashing something.
I'm having some trouble here.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, this is Undertaker versus John. I heard that name so often I still can't pronounce it.
Heidenreich.
Oh, Heidenreich. You found the match?
Jerry found it for me.
Okay. Thank God for Jerry.
Okay. This is Christmas in Iraq for the soldiers
Crappy
in
Christmas.
2004.
Wow.
Coal in the stocking right here.
Just what I wanted to see. The usual start punches back and forth, but Undertaker takes over, walks on top rope. First thing, picks John up, drops him on the top turnbuckle, then knocks him flat on his back, drags him to the apron, has his head over edge, then jumps on his head. John
Wow.
manages to get a few 2 counts. Back surplus on John. Undertaker gives John a flying clothesline.
Back surplus. That sounds like Craig.
Guess John had enough, leaves the ring, tries
What does
to
that
go.
even mean?
You have a
Through the-
very wide back, Craig. Very wide.
Your head's wide.
Go ahead. It is right now. Go ahead, Granny.
John had enough, leaves the ring, tries to go through the crowd of soldiers. They wouldn't let him, but John leaves anyway. Undertaker wins by default. I gave that a 9.
You want to be a default. And you gave it a 9, Undertaker and John Heidenreich, which Undertaker won via default. You gave a 9?
That's because I like Undertaker.
Okay. Wow.
It's her grade.
Do you
Wow.
want me to do the second one?
Yes, sure. Why not?
Oh,
Granny's going to drop to 1 match a week, so she can just pick one really good match and review it. Right, Granny? That's the idea?
it takes me a whole week to try to figure out what to
Yeah,
do.
we don't want to do that. Just pick one every week now.
Okay. This one is Undertaker versus Stone Cold. 2/28/99 and Paul Bearer. Undertaker comes in with a victory belt around his middle. Stone Cold jumps right in, punching and kicking, and then uppercuts. Stone Cold tries to straddle Undertaker on a corner post, but Undertaker kicks him hard. He falls across the barricade. Paul Bearer keeps getting mixed in it when counts come up. Stone Cold gets a few 2 counts on Undertaker. More back and forth, and another bit of help from Paul Bearer. Stone Cold gets the win. Undertaker's very upset. Beats Stone Cold up bad. I gave that an 8. And Undertaker
Not as good as John Heidenreich's match with The Undertaker.
and Undertaker lost because of Paul Bearer. He kept interfering. Okay, so that's that on that.
Hey, somebody wants somebody to send Granny the match where Paul Bearer gets buried in concrete. Might be a good one for next week.
Was that an actual match?
I think
Yes,
so.
it was Undertaker versus the Dudleys.
It was the end of a pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah.
where if the Dudleys won, Paul Bearer would be buried alive.
They had that satellite mishap, too, where it showed them practicing burying
No, he was really buried alive.
Paul Bearer.
It's real.
We will not hear any of that, Sean.
Sorry.
I haven't seen him since.
True.
Well, I did, actually.
Several
but-
times, but yeah.
All right, Granny, what else do we got here? The soap opera report? What happened on the soaps this week?
Wait a minute.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Jerry found a whole bunch of the I Love a Mystery.
Yes, we talked about I Love a Mystery.
I listened to one, and then it was fun, but now it's kind of boring. You know, like those old-fashioned radio shows.
Wow.
But he
Granny
said
not much for nostalgia.
He said he had enough of them, so I could read a few on the air if you guys wanted,
You're going to read it on the air?
or tell about it or something.
Okay, you can tell about it if you want to.
Oh, that helps good. Oh, and on the soaps, no Phyllis this week. Ashley comes back from Paris and may get back together with the honeymoon husband. And Victor got caught. Remember, he was faking the Alzheimer's stuff? Well, he got caught by his kids. So I don't know what's going to happen there. And the gal Sally that was going with one brother and the other brother loved her. it turned out that Nick gave up with her, and didn't take very long for her to go bed hopping with Adam. So that's where it is now.
Wow. Wow.
That's where it is now.
Bed hopping.
Well, you know what I mean.
Sure.
Oh, we know.
Yeah. Wow.
Jump on one bed, then you jump on the other.
Yes. Shopping at IKEA. Yeah.
She probably knew all the time that she was in love with Adam instead of Nick.
Probably.
Okay, now chapter 8. We moved quite a few times when we came to Seattle. First, after we stayed with my sister, we lived in the project. Don't remember our neighbors there. Then, after getting married, lived in the same project. First neighbor was a young woman with a baby. Her husband would leave for weeks at a time, leave her there alone. From there, we moved to the little shack we built, then the garage to the house, then Military Road. We lived there the longest, being in the, wait a minute, lumber business. I started building picnic tables with the round benches. Since we lived so close to the busy road, we just set them out close to the road and sold an awful lot of them. And then we got bark and put them in bags and sold that. And then I had to go pick up the loads of bark. The place was called Iddings. The pickup was stick shift. I took out a few clutches. Our first neighbors there was Boots and Swen. He was Norwegian.
Excuse me, Bootson Swen?
Yeah.
That was his name?
Is it two people or one?
Boots was the woman and Swen was the guy.
Oh, okay. Boots
and Swen.
And they were Norwegian. Yes, okay.
Okay.
Her name was Boots.
She worked in a restaurant and had a bookie into the horse racing.
Story
And
checks out.
She lost all their money.
Oh, no.
And one night she was playing.
Was she called Barefoot after that?
She went to play bingo, and he called our house, and he was so mad.
Boots and cement.
Said, if I catch her, I'm going to kill her.
Oh.
And we were so worried about her. We tried to get a hold of her and couldn't get a hold of her. And a couple days later, she come over and said, oh, you should come over and see my nice dining room table that Swen bought me. We were about ready to kill her.
How ironic.
And then she gave me a table. I guess it was a gift. So
There was no bill attached?
I'm always doing things. So I cut off the legs to make a coffee table out of it. And she never forgave
What?
me.
Wait.
You had a table, but you cut the legs off the table to make a coffee table out of it?
Yeah, right.
That's a
she-
huge
Yes,
coffee
Ryan.
table.
What do you understand?
How you make a table into a table by cutting the legs off of it?
Yeah.
Well, of course. Just made it lower.
Okay,
That's a huge coffee table there.
I guess.
Yeah, she never did forgive me for that one.
Well, she gave you a table and you destroyed
I know.
it.
She gave it, but she gave it to me to do with what I wanted.
You looked a gift horse in the mouth.
You need firewood, you need firewood.
No, she needed a coffee table. But you can't have a coffee table unless it's low to the ground, you see.
Yeah,
Yes.
I understand, Brian. I've
Yes.
made a few coffee tables in my day.
Apparently not. Not like this. Not taking a full-fledged table and just chopping it down.
You know, I hadn't thought of that.
Well, now you know.
Okay, then another couple moved in. It was Bill and Doris. And they had 4 girls. 2 of them were twins. And those girls were just beautiful. And we had many parties. Doris had a bad childhood, so she tried to do away with herself a few times. Terry,
got dark.
Terry,
I was
Terry.
going to
being
say,
the
is there
sports-
any good news in this memoir from this point forward?
Terry being the sports guy, and he was liked by the girls, so they toilet papered our carport. I got up before anyone and cleaned up the toilet.
Why did they toilet paper the carport?
That back then, if you was like a hot shot in sports or something like that, they come by and toilet paper
Apparently, it's a sign of affection.
trees or whatever.
I've never understood.
I
this
would hate
myself.
people that did that to me.
It happened to Vinny.
And I
And I
hated
don't
it.
think it was affection, was it, Vinny?
It was not romantic. Years later, I found out who did it, and it was not meant to be like mean spirited, but that's how I took it. I was unhappy.
I
So,
guess
Bryan-
it just meant they liked him.
To be clear, you don't want anybody toilet papering your place?
So they never
I'd
knew.
prefer if they did not do that.
Okay, I'm going to make myself a note right here.
They never knew what
How
happened.
about if they left a bunch of cardboard everywhere?
Don't even remind me. Don't even get me started.
At some point, it's going to be impossible to get into this house, you realize.
I'm quite aware.
Okay.
Do I need to
Nowadays-
explain the cardboard? I'll do it afterward, Granny. Go ahead, Granny.
Nowadays, if you try to toilet paper, it costs you a fortune. In toilet
That's
paper.
true. It's too expensive to be a prank.
You go and play.
Okay, so they tried this, so nobody knew what happened but me. Even my kids didn't know. And so they tried it again. So I just went over and said to her, Doris, make those kids of yours take that toilet paper down. I don't know if they did or not, but and so me being the builder I was, I built a bar in our basement, and we had a lot of parties there. And
Wait, how old are you?
Actually, in her 60s at this point. 50s?
Okay.
it was,
Not
it
her
was-
60s, the 60s.
It was in the 60s.
Okay,
like
okay, you were-
65.
Okay, so
65.
40.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I built, and it got sold a couple of times, and they remodeled and everything, but the bar is still there. I did a really good job on it. And we were one of the first to have a TV.
Wow.
Everybody's coming to my house to watch TV.
To watch wrestling.
No. Well, yeah, my mom and stepdad came over and watched Gorgeous George every week.
Yep.
Cool.
You watch some honeymooners?
That was before the honeymooners.
Oh.
Yeah, honeymooners didn't even exist when she got that TV. It's like
And
early
for-
50s.
This is my last one. For Halloween, I belonged to a bowling league. I used to dress up like a black cat with a tail and a mouse pinned to the end of the tail. Can you imagine bowling with that?
No.
And my friend put a bra on her back and said, I don't know if I'm coming or going. That was
That's
true.
pretty funny.
I
I
wish we
was
had heard this last week, Vinny. That would have been great for you.
shut up. I was at the gym yesterday, and there's an aerobics class there. And I look over, and there's some Halloween costumes, and some are just like fairy wings or like a skeleton leotard. So you can still work out in those. And there's a woman doing a full aerobics routine in a big furry kangaroo costume.
It sounds awesome.
Like, you're going to die. You're going to
Yeah.
have a heart attack and die.
They're much tougher than you, Vinny. I know
Kangaroos?
I've told
Yes.
the story about how I went to the Gold's Gym in Woodinville, and I was going to take one of their morning classes. They had like a cardio kickboxing class, and it was very much like when I went to take sewing when I was in kindergarten. I did not know what to expect, and I got there, and it was nothing but old ladies.
Huh.
And I'm talking, I'm old, so imagine what I'm saying when I say old ladies. I mean, they had to be in their 70s. And I got in there for this cardio kickboxing class, and they kicked my ass. Like, I was dying. And these old ladies are just like, they're kicking and they're punching, and they went a full hour. They had like this circuit. I was like, my God. So I'm sure the lady with the kangaroo suit on did just fine, Vinny.
Okay, good.
You would have died.
Yes.
That's undoubted.
Yes.
Yes. All right, anything else, Granny?
Just one thing.
Yes.
Have Jared go close up and see my pumpkin I decorated behind me.
Jared, can you zoom in on that pumpkin behind Granny right there? Let's see if you can get a good shot of this pumpkin, this great pumpkin. All right, there's Granny. And, hey, there is a pumpkin. You decorated that, Granny?
Yeah.
He's trying to get in, but there we go. There we go. And your water glass.
Close
Looks like it
up.
hasn't been washed in about
Washed
6
for a while.
months.
I eat.
And there's Mr.
crackers.
Potato Head for some reason on the side of the... And a creepy doll.
That's my calendar.
Scarecrow.
Oh, Scarecrow.
Oh shoot! I had I had spiders for eyes, and you can't see.
No,
it
I can
that
see the
way.
spiders for eyes. We can see that. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
That's enough, Jared.
There's the wall. Okay. All right, Granny. Well, we'll red 5 you, okay?
All righty, but I'm kind of mad because I worked so hard on my costume, and you guys didn't hardly dress up at all.
What are you talking about? Are you looking at me right now?
I know you, but the rest of them.
What? Sean looks exactly like Wayne from Wayne's World. Vinny looks exactly like...
Like sunglasses is all I noticed.
Well,
fair-
it's actually a pretty accurate rendition of Vinny in the morning.
My hair is a little too short to be really spectacularly bedhead.
Yeah.
The best I could with what I had. But I think it's more accurate to say that I wear a costume 364 days a year, and this is the real me.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And Craig dressed up.
Yeah. I can tie. I can make a tie, and the other three can't. So there you go.
I can tie a tie.
No,
can
you
too.
cannot.
I can.
I can, I just
Give me a
refuse to.
break.
Tied one for
You
my
go
wedding.
around here. One side's
I
got
never
to be a
went to
little
wedding.
longer. You go around and through the rabbit hole. I've
I
done this.
literally tied
5 times in my
your
life.
tie for Benny's wedding.
Well, yeah, that was Vinny's wedding.
Brian,
Yes,
what are
Granny.
you?
Huh?
What are you? What's that shirt?
Cowboy Ken.
From Ken and Barbie.
I don't know any of those guys. That's why.
Well, don't yell at me then. You don't know my costume.
Yeah.
You thought he didn't think the
I
blonde
went
one
all
was a
out.
costume? You think the
Yes.
blonde one was a fashion choice?
Yeah, you think I dyed my hair? I mean, it's
I
possible.
wouldn't doubt it.
You've done it before, but
Yes.
it's more that you grew it 4 inches in overnight.
Well, you know,
Today he had a cute hat on.
it was a cowboy hat, but I can't wear a cowboy hat and then put my headphones on. Otherwise,
true.
I'd be wearing the hat. All right, anything else, Granny? We got to get moving here.
I'm done.
All
I'm
right,
done.
brother. We'll talk to you on Sunday for your birthday party.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
See you later, Granny.
Bye.
Happy Halloween. All
Happy
right.
Halloween to you.
Let's see if we can mute the right channel. Craig, are you still there?
Am I still there?
All right, there we go. We muted the wrong one last week. Vinny,
did.
you want to know about this cardboard, damn it?
Sean brought it up. Don't get mad at me.
Okay, so listen, they're doing habitat restoration, and they're laying down mulch, and they need to lay down cardboard, and then they put the mulch on the cardboard. So we need like tons and tons and tons of cardboard. So that's why the cardboard is stacking up right there.
And you have nowhere to put it except your front
But
porch.
I believe that, in fact, they now have enough cardboard, so I'm going to be taking a big old knife, because I'm a cowboy. I'm going to be taking a big old knife,
On a steel horse you ride.
and I'm going to be chopping up that cardboard tomorrow and getting rid of it.
Well,
Thank
be
you.
careful because there are some packages that have not been opened that are still out there.
Yes. What?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a box right in the middle of your stairs. It's in the middle. You can't miss it. It's right in the way. You have to walk over it or around
Oh,
it.
you're talking the big... That's sparkly water. It's not that important. I don't drink it. Okay.
Well,
All right.
we watched NWA TNA 19, October 30th, 2002. A wretched show. It's the day before Halloween, Devil's Night, as it's called. Some of the fans have costumes. All of our costumes are better than the guy whose costume is dork with giant pit stains. I'll bring that up.
I'm
wasn't
pretty
a
sure that he was
costume.
just doing what you were doing.
Yeah, probably. Tony Mama Luke versus Kid Kat. Oh, I'm still cooler than him.
I would say this is more of a shit sandwich show. Like the two breads were okay. The
Yeah,
middle,
okay.
horrific.
Yeah,
The end.
I thought the opener was all right.
Yeah, the
but,
bread.
You know, it was just like a bunch of moves. They just did like a whole bunch of moves.
Tony Mama Luke and Kid Cash, for those of you wondering.
Yes, Tony Mamaluke and Kid Cash. And see, maybe on some weeks I would say this match was like better than it was, but I watched AJ Styles and Red at the end of the show, and it was night and day. I mean, these were two guys doing a X Division style match, but it was not nearly as good as that main event. It was all right.
This was fine. There was some cool moves. It was mostly random. I was most intrigued by Mike Tenay explaining how you can tell Tony Mamaluke from Kid Cash. I didn't think this was necessary because one guy is blonde with long hair, tattoos, and the other guy has short black hair and
an extra 40 pounds.
totally different gear. Also, Mike Tenay informed me that Kid Cash's first match ever was against Wahoo McDaniel.
I believe that.
awesome.
And I don't know if I've ever wanted to see a match so badly in my life as Kid Cash versus Wahoo McDaniel.
Bro, you broke in at a time where Tim was bringing in bad news.
Sure.
I mean, it would never have happened, but your debut match could have been against Bad News Allen.
I suppose that's true. I suppose that's true.
Instead, it was Stoney Edwards.
And
There was a
we
kid,
are all the worse for it.
In a barn in Canada. That was great.
There was this kid that his first time was in Cloverdale, and Tim wanted me to work 3 times, and I told him no. He wanted me to do 3 matches. I told Tim no, and Tim was all ticked off at me.
Craig, with all due respect, this really tells you how thin the ICW roster was.
Right. And so I said no, and Tim was hot at me. But Jerry Morrow said, I'll have the kid's first match. I did that kid a favor.
Yeah. Kind of. It probably was all downhill from there. He probably
maybe.
quit a month later when he was wrestling everybody else.
So anyway,
At least you wrestled Stoney, Vinny. And then, like, every match you had after that was better.
that's true.
Yeah.
That is undoubtedly true.
You should at least tell what happened to Kid Cash in his match with Wahoo.
Well, we don't know. I assume Wahoo killed him.
Do you know?
No, he said he broke his leg and he didn't wrestle
Oh,
like
that's
9
right.
months.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
I've been here.
So Wahoo broke his leg.
Yes.
Wow. He should have made a fucking shirt. He had a whole career built off that one.
Well, he did not break his leg here. He broke his neck when Mama Luke suplexed him right into his head. It was terrifying. But he got his revenge. He had a J driller, dropped Mama Luke right on his head, and got the pin in about 8.5 minutes. It was a fine little opener.
It was a spot fest, and it was fine.
I liked the show opened with a bell. There was no
Yeah,
garbage.
the bell rang 36 seconds into the show. There was the opening video, some crowd shots, the bell rang.
Perfect start.
Hey, I'd like to talk about how shitty this TNA app is. Can I mention this real quick?
That was a good time.
Okay, I watch this show every week on either my iPad or my iPhone, and I use the browser, whether it's Safari or Chrome. And, it's bullshit because, like, every week you have to find the show you want, and then you have to log in, and then it takes you back to the very beginning, so you have to find the fucking show you want again. And then when you finally get it loaded up, like an hour's passed. But at least when you finally get it loaded up, you can skip forward and back if need be, okay? Because you're watching a fucking show on the internet. Well, this app, I go up today, and it's not working on the browser. There's no way to get in the Asylum years. There's no way to even log in. Like, the website's all fucked up today. So I texted you guys, hoping that, like, it was just broken. I wouldn't have to watch the show. But then you guys were like, I watch it just fine on my such and such. So then I was told, well, download the app. I was like, I have to download a fucking app. So I download the app, and then I log in, and then lo and behold, you can watch it on the app if you don't mind never fast-forwarding or rewinding. There's no +10, +15, +30. You can't slide your finger and have it advance like you can on the fucking browser. So I suffered through the entire hour and 52 minutes of this fucking show.
I was suffering.
God damn it. Is it that hard? It's fucking 2023, dude. If you have an app where we're supposed to watch shit, have the ability to skip forward or fucking skip back.
It's weird that it works differently on every peripheral.
Yes.
Like the Fire Stick, you can actually... There isn't a +15 or a -15. You just have to press, like, forward, but on the navigation stick and not the fast-forward button, and it jumps forward like 30 seconds.
Yeah, and if you watch it on the phone, on the browser, you literally can slide your finger and it will just, like, fast forward. It'll, like, go, like, in 10 times speed to get to where you want. It's so convenient. And then, of course, it doesn't work today, so I'm stuck on this shitty app. Anyway, got it out of my system.
Tonight on the show, Jeff Jarrett versus...
This is as far as we are?
Yes.
Let's just move on. It doesn't
All right.
matter what's on the show. We're going to review it.
Mike tonight is a sit-down interview with Scott Hall, where Scott says he's attracted to TNA by its outlaw spirit, and he says, quote, "They're too stupid to quit."
That's a quote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I caught that, too.
Yes.
He was a nice guy.
He was nice.
He was friendly. He was like Six Pac. A friendly interview.
They're down the same
He
line.
wouldn't call Goldilocks a bitch.
No. He wants the world title, wants to represent this company. He's impressed by Ron Killings. He's very good, but not quite as good as he thinks he is.
And no, T. Gray 77, the Peacock controls are miles better than the TNA app.
Yep.
Truth versus Scott Hall. So first, Truth is a promo. He runs down Hennig, Six-Pack, BG James, Scott Hall. They're all playing locker room politics.
Hey, when you were going to say what was happening tonight, had they announced the matches in the tournament yet, or was that later?
That's later.
Okay.
Which confused me, honestly.
I laughed my ass off when they go, we have a tournament tonight. We've got 4 matches coming up. There's going to be this match. There's going to be this match. There's going to be this match. And there's going to be this match. And then like 10 seconds pass and they go, X-Pac injured his hip. The match will not take place tonight.
Yeah.
I was like, why the fuck did you announce this 10 seconds ago and then wait to go, actually, you're actually not going to see that match? It's not like we're watching on television. It's not like you have to keep us watching. It's a fucking pay-per-view, and just out of nowhere, I guess you won't see it. That was weird.
Well, they wasted all that time making a graphic, and they didn't want it to go to waste.
While I bring this up, I just want to point out the truth. It says, Jeff Jarrett is not focused on my world title. Yeah, right, says this. So Hall comes out and runs his mouth for a while. They do a match. It's your basic main event brawl. A couple of power moves tossed in. Truth, it's a big power slam. Hall, it's a choke slam, makes his comeback. It is interesting. Obviously, Scott Hall is, it's just how wrestling has changed. But if a guy is making a comeback now, like any guy of any size in any company, it's going to be running back and forth, ducking this, dodging this, counter this, kick this. Scott Hall's whole comeback is takedown, takedown, takedown. Slam, follow away slam, back superplex, go with the razor's edge. Choke slam is in there somewhere. So Mr. Wrestling 3 runs down to the ring. He runs into the ring.
Yeah.
Scott Hall beats his ass, yanks his mask off, but 3 pulls the hood down over his head and runs away. And Hall turns around and Truth pins him in the front suplex at 6:43.
It's like they're doing all of these near falls and shit, and then there's a distraction, and his move is a front suplex, and Scott Hall is killed. He's pinned. He cannot kick out of this move. Was that Truth's finish?
One of them.
I thought he had another finish. That is the lamest nothing happening finish for the NWA World Heavyweight Champion.
He did like
a
the
front suplex.
axe kick.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Wrestling 3 did not just cover his face with a hood, Vinny.
Okay.
He had another mask.
Oh, gotcha.
And as he was down at ringside, he quickly put this over, but one eye was way over here, and one eye was like right here. And so he looked like the ghost on the Charlie Brown Christmas. Or the Charlie Brown
I thought that's what
Halloween.
Vinny was going to wear today.
Yeah.
Thought about it. Jeff Jarrett does a promo. He
You'd have
thanks.
been really hot.
I'm not cool now. Let me tell you. Jeff Jarrett does a promo. Thanks the NWA for putting him in this tournament for a title shot. All they have to do, he says, is win 3 matches and then set my sights on the Truth. 10 minutes ago, Truth said Jarrett was not focused on him. Anyway, this portion of the promo was straight white meat babyface. Thank you for giving me a chance. I'm going to win. Then he addresses Mr. Wrestling 3 and puts literally an infinite bounty on the man's head. Anyone who can unmask this guy and tell me who it is, I will pay you however much money you want. I actually had to replay this to make sure that's what he said, and this is what he said. So, and by the way,
if I unmask that guy, I can ask him for $5 trillion.
$5 gazillion.
Wow. $5 Google dollars?
Yes. Now, by the way, isn't Mr. Wrestling 3 a heel at this point? Did I just see him attack a babyface?
I thought he was a heel. And I think Jeff Jarrett is a heel, but he thinks he's a babyface. And no one, whatever.
So Kurt Hennig comes out, notes that Jarrett is, and I quote, a really dumb guy.
Yeah.
Takes a shot at DDP for no reason again. Repeats that Jarrett is dumb. Killings is also dumb. Jarrett, you are Mr. Wrestling 3. And it just ended. Hot Shots versus Michaels and Michaels versus America's Most Wanted. Whatever. The heels openly embraced beforehand. I mean, not making it even a little bit subtle that they were going to, double team America's Most Wanted.
The announcers even talk about what a stupid team America's Most Wanted. They're like putting them over, but they point out this is very stupid to accept the challenge of 2 teams. And it's like, well, yeah, it sure fucking is.
So they get beat up for a while. Then eventually, of course, the 2 heel teams start fighting over who's going to get the pin. And the Hot Shots run wild for a while. The Michaelses run wild for a while.
Who are not brothers.
No relation.
No relation.
And then A&W hits the Midnight Express's Vegematic.
Because that's important for some fucking reason.
I don't know. But
I still don't. I need Russo on the show. I never thought I'd say that before. But I need to ask. Actually, you probably wouldn't even fucking know either. This is probably their indie gimmick. I need one of them on the show to explain why was it so important that your last names were Michaels, but we had to be reminded on every single last fucking show that you were of no relation. Why was that important? Anyone?
So A&W hit the Vegematic win. Went 6 minutes, 20 seconds. And after a couple of weeks where A&W were total ass kickers, we're now back to their fluke champions who get lucky wins all the time.
But they still win all the time.
They did win.
They have never been beaten.
Better
yet.
than losing. But
And they
yes.
are calling them America's Most Wanted.
Yeah, they lost. They didn't lose, but they didn't get over, especially
Yes.
what came next.
Yes. So lights go out. When they come back on, there's Brian Lee and Slash. And they're killing everyone. And Jim Mitchell's out for a promo. Brian Lee technically chokeslams Chris Harris off the stage.
Kind of.
This was the funniest, lamest bullshit. He literally grabbed him by the throat. He lifted him maybe a foot off the ground.
Much less.
And Harris just jumped backwards and landed on his feet on the ground. It was so
I guarantee
lame.
you, your grandmother could get more air on a chokeslam.
Oh, for sure. She did tonight when she tried to sit down in that chair.
Yes. So Slash is a balcony dive to put James Storm through a table, and then Jim Mitchell cuts his promo. And Jim Mitchell's awesome.
Got a very good promo.
I never complain about a Jim Mitchell promo. My disciples, the new church, will do what they want to whom they want, for as long as they want, until I tell them to stop. I am beyond good and evil, he says, which is funny because the whole point of the promos was the evil was returning. He goes on for a while about being the Alpha and Omega. He tells us all to prepare for the apocalypse.
Sounds pretty fucking serious to me.
They had been touting these guys coming back for weeks, and we got this, and it was not good.
It was there. Tenay does a sit down with Bob Armstrong and Heavy D. Time for some rules changes here in TNA. Because Bullet Bob is sick and tired of pro wrestling, in pro wrestling, of champions taking cheap count-out losses or intentionally getting themselves disqualified to save their titles.
This was when this show fell off the fucking cliff.
This is the 19th show. So they've been...
And not only that, like, if you've been watching the show, I realize there have been some shit finishes here and there, but when's the last time a champion in a championship match got himself disqualified?
I was just going to say, I don't think it's ever happened.
When
in
is the
history of
last
this
time
company.
a champion in the middle of a match got himself counted out so he wouldn't lose a title? I don't think it's ever happened. Okay, and so, but Bullet Bob decides, well, you know, the problem is we have too much of this, which has never happened. So I'm going to assign a special enforcer to make sure that this shit don't go down in this tournament here tonight. And that special enforcer is Don. Is it Ron or Don?
Don.
Don.
Heavy D.
Heavy D. Heavy D is going to be the special enforcer to make sure that the rules are fucking followed. That's what he said.
Yes. He's not just a special enforcer, as it turns out. He is the referee.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is the referee to make sure that the rules
Yes.
of professional wrestling.
Yes.
And you know the other thing Bullet said that was weird? They're having a tournament, an 8-man, 4-match tournament, where the winner will get a shot at the NWA title, correct?
Right.
Okay. So when he's explaining all of these things that he's upset at champions for doing, he says that Heavy D is going to be the referee and he's going to enforce the rules because I don't want any of that happening in this tournament. And I thought, what in the absolute fuck are you talking about? There are no champions in this tournament. There are no title matches in this tournament. No champion is going to walk out of this tournament or get himself disqualified in this tournament. Like, you're making up rules for champions for a tournament with no champions in it. What? And then, if I may jump ahead, what was the first fucking tournament match?
Ron Harris versus BG James.
It's Ron Harris versus BG James, okay? And the announcers are watching this match going, man, this Heavy D's calling it right down the middle. And so BG starts making his comeback, and he starts fucking punching Ron, Randy R, or whatever. Starts hitting this guy with closed fists.
I beg your pardon?
I was trying to think of an opposite for Heavy D. He starts hitting Ron with a closed fist, and Don's like, dude, you can't do a closed fist. And so, you know, he shoves Heavy D out of the way, and he continues punching him with a closed fist. So Don's like, motherfucker, I'm supposed to enforce the rules here. He yanks Road Dogg off the ropes. And all of a sudden, out comes Bullet Bob. And Bullet Bob says, Heavy D, get your ass out of the ring. Actually, he goes, Heavy D and Ron, get your ass out of the ring. So they both get their asses out of the ring. And then he goes, Ron, if you don't get back in that ring, you're in trouble. So now Ron has to get back in the ring. And then he goes, Heavy D, you're fired. I hired you tonight, and now you're fired. And Heavy D goes, what? What the fuck are you talking about? And Bullet Bob goes, you're doing a shitty job. You're doing a horrible job as referee. And Heavy D says, I'm enforcing the fucking rules. Like, you told me to enforce the rules. That guy's punching the other guy with a closed fist. He's breaking the rules, and he shoved me. And now I'm fired? And so, yes, he got fired. And so they send Heavy D to the back, wrongfully. And then Ron gets in the ring, and I don't even know what he did.
Okay.
But he won.
There's so much you're glossing over here.
I know, but it doesn't matter. The overall story is so fucking stupid. Forget the details. The big picture. Why did he fire Heavy D?
I actually want to go last. So, Craig, Sean, the floor is yours.
Okay, so here's the way I saw it. I don't think Heavy D sold the fact that he was supposed to be siding with his brother. So,
but he wasn't.
In other words, hold on, he was. He was the first one to throw the closed fist was his brother, and he chastised him and said, "Don't do that."
Okay.
And then
warning.
And then Road Dogg throws one, and he says, "Hey, don't do that."
Warning.
Okay. And then there was the rope spot, and they were like, "No, not on the ropes." He was completely calling it down the middle.
Yes.
But I think he was supposed to be favoring his brother more, and then that's when brought out.
But the problem is he didn't.
And if that was this,
and the announcers are even talking about what a fair and just referee he is.
that was Don
Did
West
no
the
one smart
entire
them
time.
up?
That's the only thing I can think is he was supposed to favor his brother more, but he did not. And it was not obvious, and that
Well,
way
you know, this whole
story
show
got
is supposed to be
messed up.
good, but it's not. It's shit.
All right.
I like the part where Heavy D told Bullet Bob on his way out that he must be protecting his fat son.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. So this is like a physical incarnation of how no one has any idea what the hell the C.J. Perry Miro storyline is in AEW right now, and everyone who thinks they know has a different story than everyone else who thinks they know. Because we all saw this exact same match, we saw it totally differently. So they start doing this match, and Big Ron clenches his fist and rears back, and Heavy blocks him, physically blocks him from throwing a punch. Mm-hmm. And then BD does the same thing. He does his little dance. He's going to do his jabs, but Heavy D blocks him again. Okay, that's fine and dandy. But then Road Dogg turns around, and Ron Harris punches him in the face.
You know,
This happened repeatedly.
He was breaking
so
the rules.
I saw it as Heavy D favoring his brother, but
Yes.
no one else noticed. The announcers didn't notice.
No one noticed.
Now,
That's what I just said, Vinny.
Okay, so as this is going on, Don West explains this is a round-robin tournament, immediately corrects himself, because he has no idea what's going on.
No one does.
Suddenly, in the middle of all this face-punching, we cut backstage where Jeff Jarrett has beaten Kurt Hennig bloody. He looks like the Janet Leigh in a shower in Psycho. It's just blood everywhere. You go back to the match. We cut backstage. They've got Hennig sat down. They're putting a bandage on his head. They haven't wiped his face down at all.
No, the best
this
part
cut could be here, it could be here, it could be the back of his, it could be both ears. We don't know, but they're bandaging him.
The best part of this is that, and I like Goldilocks, but they literally have a doctor applying gauze to the wound. And Goldilocks is there screaming, "Can we get a doctor? Can someone help this man?" I'm like, what the fuck do you think's happening right now? There's a doctor right here helping this man.
I like when she
It's
asked.
not enough for her.
When she asked Kurt, "Can you hear me?"
Yeah.
Were his ears cut off?
Well, yeah, his gauze was covering his fucking ears. His whole head was wrapped like a mummy.
So they do the bit where Doggy yanked the referee yanks the wrestler down. At this point, he asks, "Why am I watching this?" And they do the bullshit. And as Heavy D is fired and then punches Bullet Bob, now we go back to Jarrett and Hennig brawling again. This is hysterically awful, I wrote. Don says, "Bullet Bob, you're just defending your fat-ass son." So as Don lays out Bullet, Road Dogg ignores the fact that his dad has been knocked out. Now, to be fair, not the first time he's seen his dad knocked out. And he wins, but they roll up. All of this happened in 5.5 minutes.
Yeah, this was a load of shit. Can we move on?
Show's terrible.
Horrible.
I was tired.
Bullshit.
I was so fucking tired. And then Jorge Estrada and Priscilla, versus Ace Steel and Mortimer Plumtree.
Are you okay over there?
No!
Vinny, you're Knuff.
Ace Steel and Mortimer Plumtree were booked and advertised for Jorge Estrada and Priscilla. They come out, and Mortimer says, I'm not wrestling. It'll be Bruce instead. This is bullshit. This is not the match the babyfaces agreed to. They're protesting, but no one stops them.
No. Who the fuck's going to stop him? Bull Bob's back there yelling at Heavy D about his fat son.
So they're forced into a match they don't want to wrestle. A word of advice, everyone. If you're forced into a match you don't want to wrestle, submit! Get counted out! Forfeit!
No, he wrestles a handicap match against fucking Bruce, who, like, him and what's-his-face, they're a good team.
The actual wrestling here
They were a good
This was a
team.
good handicap match.
I was like, no wonder this guy's going all Japan. He's good.
Bruce and Ace Steel and
Get
Jorge
the fuck
Estrada.
out of this place.
They're all totally watchable wrestlers. I do think, we're 19 shows in, I don't think Jorge Estrada has washed his Elvis jumpsuit. It used to be sparkling white, now it's gray and dingy. But this goes like 6 minutes. Ace hits a widow's peak thing. He lets Bruce get the pin. And the heels then grab Priscilla, and Mortimer spanks her. And even this they fall down on.
Yeah, this sucked.
So, but before this match started, they're doing the little graphics to show what's happening, and the graphic that showed Ace Steel, because the quality of the show is from 2002, it made him look like it was an actual clip from like N64 No Mercy. The look on his face, he looked like a geometric figure,
Ace Steel,
video game character.
Ace Steel in real life looks like bad CGI.
Yeah,
that's what he looks like.
I like how Estrada has taken that springboard off the ropes and then actually twists in air and then does basically a tope onto his head, onto the guy.
Yes.
And he just has completely scrubbed that, and now he's doing the cabrata.
Thank God.
Yeah, so he doesn't kill himself and or others.
So in our tournament, which Commissioner Bullet Bob says he wants no bullshit and fair winners up and down the card, Kurt Hennig limps out looking like a Walking Dead reject. Jeff Jarrett hits him with a chair, throws him in the ring, hits a stroke, and pins him. What a great tournament! Thank God Bullet Bob is here to lay down law and order.
Tournament sucks. You want to know why?
Show sucks. Company
Because
sucks.
Vince Russo doesn't know how to book a fucking tournament to save his life. Every tournament he ever booked sucked. It's not that hard. It's a tournament. Have matches with winners, not losers who get back into the fucking tournament.
Which brings me to
dorks and nerds.
Goldie is interviewing Jerry Lynn. And these are not her exact words, but this is very, very close to what she said. Last week, you got a big win over Sonny Siaki. Now the two of you are meeting in the first round, and your reward for beating him is that you have to beat him again. So Jerry cuts a promo. It's fine. The title, he says, is more important than revenge. I don't know what he wants revenge for. He beat the guy. So then, Goldie interviews Sonny Siaki, who attempts to seduce her while doing his impression of The Rock on Quaaludes.
Yeah.
His excuse for losing last week is that he did not give Jerry Lynn everything he had. Try to get past Sonny Siaki, he says, and I'll push you back down Jacob's ladder.
And then he goes...
Does he think Jacob's ladder is an actual ladder?
And then he goes, Sonny Siaki has left the interview. And she goes, thank you. I'm so happy.
Gold is great. Sonny Siaki versus Jerry Lynn.
Okay, listen. Listen. I like Sonny Siaki apparently more than most here.
Yeah.
Jerry Lynn is great. Mm-hmm. I thought that, like, as a match, I mean, you know, it was good, I guess.
No, it was bad.
But here's the problem. How long was this match? How long was this match? This match felt like it went 45 minutes. It just kept going and going and going and going and going. And the crowd's getting quieter and quieter the longer it goes. Mm-hmm. And by the end, I'm just thinking, okay, so who didn't show up tonight? Like, God, I thought this was going to go to the end of the show. It just kept going so long. And I don't even remember who won after all that. Who won this match?
Well, we'll get there.
No! Just tell me and get it over with. I can't sit through a long thing again, Vinny.
Sonny, oh, well, fuck you. You have to. Sonny Siaki won. All right? There. If you want to tune out, you can. That's fine. But I had to sit through this and watch it and
I
take
did
notes.
too. You want to relive it?
Kinda!
All right.
I want to share my misery with the listeners. So, Don West just went to the TNA Hall of Fame. We're all huge fans of Don West. Mm-hmm. He worked really hard at this job. In some ways, he was very, very good at it, but this was not his best show, and this is not his best match. They're doing this match, and Don explains, after Jerry Lynn won last week, clean, he's happy they're doing a rematch, because all Sonny Siaki did was work the knee and try to damage him. He took his eye off the prize, and Lynn taught him a lesson and made him pay. My brain began to weep.
Your brain wept?
I can't handle this explanation. This makes no sense. None of this makes any damn sense. Good leg, bad leg, it doesn't matter. Sonny Siaki is a good opponent for Jerry Lynn. This is all what Don West is saying here. He just keeps contradicting himself over and over again. This match fucking sucked.
Wow.
I would not go that
This
far.
was the longest 15 minutes of my life.
There's no way it was 15 minutes. It was at least 40.
It was 15.
There's no way it was less than 40 minutes. I
technical.
refuse to believe that.
It was 15:01.
No, it was not. You are a fucking liar, Vinny.
You want to watch it again?
This is like Ultimate Fighter when people said they put the names on the screen. Bullshit. There's no way this was 15 minutes and 1 second.
So what's going on?
Double
and on.
that. Easy.
Do you know how bad a wrestler you have to be to have a boring match with Jerry Lynn?
Yep.
Like
I mean, it was boring. Don't get me
There
wrong.
is this reputation that Sonny Siaki has that he was a talented guy who didn't get the right break, the right gimmick, or whatever.
I feel that.
No, he was a middling talent who happened to resemble an absolute megastar. If anything, he was more successful than he should have been. I think he overachieved. Wow. So this slow, plodding, boring ass, shitty match goes on and on and on. The ref gets bumped. Lynn kicks a chair into the guy's face. There's no ref. Siaki is a leg up onto a chair. The ref recovers. Lynn kicks out. And finally, in a tournament built to ensure that the rules are followed, Sonny Siaki wins with his feet on the ropes. Thank God we got rid of all the bullshit finishes.
If only Heavy D had been there, he'd have stomped those legs.
Then Lynn attacks him. This feud must continue.
Yes, he didn't get his. Now he needs revenge.
Up until the main event, the best thing in the show by 1,000 miles was the Brian Lawler six-pack video package. I should note, by the way, on last week's show, there was a whole bit where Six Pack did a promo saying he and Brian should fight for the right to fuck April. And then April came out and accused him of forcing himself on her, and he denied this.
Yes.
And we all just didn't mention it and forgot it, and we all moved on with our lives. But they recapped it here. The two things that made this great were the fantastic old-school soap opera organ music. Granny would approve, I'm sure. And also the video effects where they added like the scratches and stuff to the film. It's like what they're trying to do with Tony Storm's movies on Dynamite, but
Right.
TNA actually did it better. I'm not making that up. So anyway, that happened here.
That package was the best thing on the show.
Yep. So then Goldie...
That's impossible. We had the main event.
Yeah, still.
I'd give it the second best on the show.
It was the second best thing on the show. Then Goldie tries to interview Brian Lawler and April backstage. They're acting all lovey-dovey and happy. There has never been a relationship, he says, with as much love as the relationship between me and April. He tries to remember pairs of famous lovers. Apparently he never read much Shakespeare. There's no way she'd go out with that greaseball six-pack, and he kisses her neck, but she's rolling her eyes. Then he comes out, after cutting a promo backstage, he comes out to cut a promo in the ring, but a fan does something and he kicks his ass. And that's it.
Yeah.
The fan touches him, and Lawler goes back to talk to him. The fan touches him again. Then Lawler pulls him out and busts his nose and haul him off.
Oh, thank God for Amazing Red and AJ Styles. Great match. Great main event on the show. Horrible show, great main event.
What's funny is usually, well, actually I shouldn't say that because the last several weeks they've had like Hennig out there for short main events. But, Lance will be on the show tomorrow, 2 Pacific, 5 Eastern, Wednesday. And he mentioned that this show fucking sucked. But it had a great main event. I didn't remember what the main event was when he messaged me. And so, with about, 18 minutes of TV time left, that's when Brian Lawler came out. I was like, oh my God, Brian Lawler had the best fucking match on the show? Like, who the hell did he wrestle? And then, they did the whole segment and he was gone. And then, they bring out AJ and Red, and they only give him like 12 minutes or something like that for their match. But my fucking God, they had the best match. And, you mentioned Don, and you said that Don needed to go into the Hall of Fame or whatever. What did you say?
He was in the TNA Hall of Fame.
He just went in the TNA Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
But then you buried him
Yeah.
for his work in the Siaki match?
Well, not his best match.
I thought Don West was so fucking great in this Amazing Red
Yes.
AJ Styles match.
Agreed.
He was so great because he just was in the zone, dude. He was watching this match, and he was still, like, playing announcer, but, like, he was marking out for the match. He thought it was so great, and his enthusiasm and the way he put over Red for everything that he did. Like, when this was over, I thought he made this match even better than it was, and it was great. This match was awesome.
And up until 19 weeks ago, he had not called a wrestling match.
No.
From 19 weeks ago till today, what a transformation. This guy's was a super pro, and I loved his enthusiasm for professional wrestling, and he was actually enjoying himself while putting over the product. The guy was awesome.
So the match was just tremendous. Everything they did looked great, and AJ is a fucking phenomenal wrestler, and he knows, well, he's a heel anyway, but he grounds Red with a variety of submissions to make this comeback even more spectacular. But it's not like they're not lying their submissions. This is not Sonny Siaki grabbing a chin lock for 27 minutes. He's working holds. Red makes this fucking fantastic comeback. Somewhere in here, Plumtree trips him as he's running the ropes, and it didn't even lead to anything, so I don't know why they bothered, but whatever. And the finish was, in fact, the best part, because AJ goes up top, Red cuts him off, tries a top rope Rana. AJ blocks that, tries a top rope powerbomb. Red counters that into a top rope Rana, but AJ counters that and rolls through it into a cradle and gets the pin. 12.5 minutes. That was awesome.
Yeah, you have to go to, like, I mean, at this point, not nowadays, but, you know, you got to go back to, like, that Halloween Havoc 97 or whatever with Eddie and Ray to see a match this good that was 12 minutes long.
Yeah.
It was so great. These guys were awesome. And it is totally different. Like, when you see, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, those AJ Sean Waltman matches. I mean, it was very clear that Waltman was not going to sit there for 6 hours and go over all these spots. He was going to call it in the ring. And then you watch Amazing Red and AJ, who I'm sure probably spent 6 hours putting this match together and practicing every last single thing. And this is what you got. But, you know, AJ can do both at this point. And, you know, the older he gets, the more he's going to do it the way that, you know, he did it with Sean Waltman. But here, you know, he was able to put this match together, and it was just great. Awesome match.
I second that finish was incredible. I mean, these guys did like 3 moves in the air. It was unbelievable.
So, yes, Greg.
I was just going to say that just like the Waltman match from the last 2 weeks, you know, it's not the moves, it's everything in between that makes the match good, and AJ picked up on that at some point and had a great match with Red, and Red's 18 here.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
The main event is the real main event is the Don West Hard Sell. Next week, a table elimination X Division match. Apparently the tables will be eliminated. Kid Cash versus Tony Mamaluke versus the SATs versus Ace Steel. Jorge Estrada versus Bruce, where if Jorge wins, Priscilla can become Miss TNA. AJ Styles versus Jerry Lynn in an X title match, rewarding Jerry Lynn for losing this week.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett versus Kurt Hennig again. And BG James versus Sonny Siaki in a tournament semifinal.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
That better not go 15 minutes and 1 second, let me tell you.
The Road Dogg would never survive 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, there you go, everybody. NWA TNA, the week of October 30, 2002.
Finishers report.
Do not skip this.
Oh, yeah, I forgot we did that.
This has logically been a waste of time, this whole finishers report for TNA, but we got a doozy this week.
All right, well, let's get that going here, Vinny.
The finishes on this terrible show were clean pin. Pin after distraction, where a masked man attacked the challenger but never hit a move, so it wasn't a DQ. Clean pin. Pin after a biased heel ref was fired mid-match. Pin in a quote-unquote mixed tag when the heels bring in a new partner and nobody does anything about it, so it turns into a handicap match. Pin after a backstage brawl and a chair shot, and nothing we can do about this, that's just the way it goes. Pin with feet on the ropes after a ref bump and multiple chair shots in a 15-minute match that felt like 15 days. And pin after interference, though the interference did not lead directly to the finish.
Who interfered in the main event?
Mortimer Plumtree tripped him at one time.
Oh, that's right. I wouldn't.
To be honest, I was in a sour
I would
mood.
just say clean finish.
The finish was clean.
It was a clean finish.
Yeah, that was me being salty.
All right, well, Salty, we're going to wrap it up for today. The Bryan and Vinny Show returns subscribers only. On Thursday, we'll be talking AW Dynamite, NXT Halloween Havoc Night 2. And then we'll all be back on Sunday with the Collision Report and our weekly live Q&A. And might be switched up next week. We might be doing Sunday's show as the free YouTube show, so we can take questions from people in the chat. So that's coming up next Sunday. But you should always click subscribe if you are watching this show live on YouTube, and also hit the bell, because sometimes we switch things up, and it'll help notify you as to what we're doing when. So anyway, that's it for today. Be back tomorrow with Observer Live and Wrestling Observer Radio with Dave and Lance. 3 shows tomorrow. And that's it. We'll talk to you again after a while.
Good night.
Adios.
Mahalo.